Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so Grizzlies, Timberwolves. Okay, so the series is headed back to Minnesota, and to be honest with you, as far as I can tell, everything about this game is pointing toward this being a complete dogfight. In the first game, you saw Minnesota jump out, get the victory early, and just kind of punch Memphis in the mouth. It didn't seem like they were ready for it. Memphis came back, kind of set with that feeling for a little bit, did what they had to do in game two to take care of their homestand. The split is what they'll settle for. Headed back to Minnesota, it's a little different because you're dealing with the momentum of what a Patrick Beverly, what a Karl Anthony Towns, what a Anthony Edwards, and all of those guys are going to be able to feed off of from this being a Minnesota playoff game. You know, they haven't been to the playoffs very often, to say the least, and it's been a very, very long time. So the energy's going to be jumping. It's going to be crazy. I expect it to be like the Bucks in the finals last year. I expect it to be like Toronto and all of that. The energy in Minnesota is going to be nuts. Patrick Beverly's going to be igniting that crowd. And Memphis is going to be at another test. It's going to be a different type of test. It's one thing to have an urgency and respond. You know what I mean? And make your adjustments and respond at home, have your crowd behind you and all that. That's cool. But when you go on the road and it's the playoffs and you're dealing with that energy, this is yet another new experience for this team. So, you know, this is when I look over at the Memphis bench and I say, Steven Adams is going to have to kind of reel these guys in. I know he's played some playoff basketball. The vets on that Memphis team are going to have to kind of guide Ja and Desmond and those guys and Jaren, and try to, like, you know, let them understand that this is yet another situation where they're probably going to get punched in the mouth, basically. Expect Minnesota's best. Expect Karl to feel real comfortable shooting from behind the arc tonight. They're going to have to get out there. You know, you're going to want to see if Xavier Tillman can be just as effective, knowing that the defense is going to be kind of looking for what it is that he's doing. He's not going to be able to catch Minnesota's defense off guard tonight. So those things are going to be things I'm looking at. Are they going to try to get Steven Adams reincorporated back into this series? Are they really going to sit him for the entire series? I don't have an opinion about it at all. If what's working is working, keep it going is what I think. You know, Xavier Tillman, as I felt for a while, should have been given more minutes anyway. But for the nature of what the Memphis Grizzlies are and the fact that they were winning, there's no sense in making the changes that otherwise didn't get made. So now that he's getting this opportunity, I think he's fit for it. So this should work for them if they decide to continue with it. And yeah, Vanderbilt, McDaniels, those guys are very important for the Minnesota Timberwolves, especially at home. They too ignite their crowd with what they do on the court defensively. They're going to continue to use their length to force turnovers. And one of the things that's really special about the Minnesota Timberwolves is that they tend to not turn over the ball themselves. And that is a very, very good thing. So, you know, when you have those two players, actually it's more than that, obviously, because you consider Patrick Beverly and Okeke, of course, as a team, they have the pieces to improve defensively. And if they can do that in these playoffs right now as a team, it'll give them a great shot to win some games in this series for sure. You know, I'm not going to pick them to win the series because I do believe in Memphis and I know what they can do. But at the same time, I would be lying if I said I felt as good about this series for Memphis as I would maybe if they would have caught somebody else. This is a matchup I think, you know, it is a serious test for them. But as I said about the Suns Pelican series, I'll say about this one. If you're real and you're legit, then you're going to have to face some teams that are going to be good, going to be smart. And it's best to catch those type of teams early so you can already be in the swings of things as you advance. Because the teams that are not being tested in the first round are going to be the teams that are going to be caught off guard by the intensity that hits them by the next team they face. and that sometimes can derail the course of the series and send they butts home. So, um, you know, if you're about it, then you'll take care of business against a team that's worthy of you in the first round, and that's exactly what this is. So, hey, it's on Anthony Edwards to bounce back. He did not have the greatest game, too. And we know what type of big playability and what type of impact he has on the Minnesota Timberwolves. When he's playing like a star, they're more likely to win games they're in. When he's hovering around 12, 13 points, when he's not making his impact felt, when he's not getting them streaky 3-point shots up that he tends to hit when he goes crazy, they're not as good a team. Same goes for D'Angelo Russell. We've talked a lot about D'Angelo Russell because he's, of course, a Laker kid. So, just from that experience, I have some understanding of what his game used to be as he was developing. And some of that is still what it is. It's just kind of souped up from who he was as a Laker, which was a very clutch player who had incredible ability, one of the best jump shots in the world, but not very athletic. He tended to have issues staying healthy with us. He had, little knee injuries, knick-knack injuries, stuff like that, kind of kept him hobbled. And his motor wasn't always where it needed to be, aside from the stuff that people remember from the Nick Young situation. That aside, we're just talking about on the court. That's what it tend to be with him. Our team wasn't very good. We were tanking at the time, so I don't think his development went as it should have. If he would have been in winning situations or had a certain type of team catered to developing him and had vets around him that were intent on empowering him to be his best, I think he would have been in a better situation. Now, obviously, he played with Kobe Bryant. That was extreme, experience for him, and I think it can carry him going forward if he remembers the intensity and the work ethic that Kobe provided. So I'd never discredit that. But I'm just talking about, that team that he was on. It was about Kobe. It was the final years, and you were just along for the ride, kid. That's what it was. And so it wasn't catered toward making him the rookie of the year, or you know what I'm saying. He's not in a situation like Scotty Barnes is in with Toronto. That's what I'm saying to you. So I think that derailed him a bit. I think the fit in Minnesota is good, obviously in the playoffs, and you just want to see him carry forward his talent and display that in this series. Because if he's scoring 30 points, Memphis is in some serious trouble. You have to match that. And with Carl going off, Anthony Edwards going off, Patrick Beverley, his 3-point shot is very important. He tends to be someone who can hit multiple 3-point shots in games. When he's providing more than 11 points worth of scoring, that's a serious punch for any team he's on, because his defense is going to help them off rip. His rebounding is going to help them off rip. His energy is going to help them off rip. So I like this game from Minnesota tonight. I understand that Memphis is playing better. I understand that Memphis's adjustments worked. And I also understand that Minnesota is going to have to make adjustments to match the improved play of guys who otherwise didn't play well in the game that they won. A guy like Desmond Bane, I expect his game to be good tonight. Brooks, he's going to play well tonight, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? So if you are to expect players to improve, then you got to match that with improvement yourself. And that's what I'm going to be looking for from the Minnesota Timberwolves. If they're going to get a stranglehold on this series and try to upset this team, for which they have the pieces to do, they're going to have to continue to not turn the ball over, as we said, and pay attention to the free throw line, fouls that you pick up, and all these different things. I think the teams that pay attention to those things are obviously going to be the ones that succeed in these series, playing smart this year and just being mindful of the clock, stuff like that, detail stuff. So we will see. I'm looking at Malik Beasley for this game, particularly tonight. Coming back home, a guy like that, he goes off in situations where the crowd is behind him. You know, I think he thrives in pressured situations. It seems from afar to my eyesight. He looks like he has a clutch gene about him. I think he's going to thrive in a game like tonight, and I'd be very surprised if he doesn't go off. I just expect it. It's just a feel thing. The series is headed back home. All of the attention is going to be on all of the other players that you have to focus on going against Minnesota. And he is a guy who should be, in theory, getting open looks tonight. Now, I'm not saying that that's literally going to happen, but what I'm saying is if Memphis is covering all of their bases and they have to choose something to leave alone, it's probably going to be him a lot of the time. I just see it that way. And because of it, that means he's going to get open looks. He's going to get rhythm looks. And that should open things up if he's hitting them. So, as I said, this is a dangerous game. I'm looking at the Memphis Grizzlies, and I think Ja Morant is going to be ready for tonight. I expect him to be ready for tonight. I expect him to go off. He's going to hover above 30 points, I'm sure. So, containing him is very important. And Patrick Beverley. It's always about Patrick Beverley with the Timberwolves. Even though they have the star power of Karl Towns and all those other guys, this team is going to go as he pushes them. He is the leader. And not from a star standpoint, but from a locker room standpoint. If they're going to go anywhere in these playoffs, it's going to be because they're going to follow his leadership. And also, I didn't realize this because I did not just catch it for whatever reason. But Karl Anthony Towns is caught on camera sticking his leg out, seemingly trying to hurt Ja Morant on a play where he shot a three. And I say he, meaning Karl Anthony Towns, shot a 3-point shot, landed in such a way as Karl Anthony Towns was, as Ja Morant was coming by him. As he was landing, he stuck his leg out in what seemed to be in an unnecessary way and, tripped up the player. It looked dirty to me. You can't prove intent, but then you look back and you just consider the fact that, this is a playoff situation, and teams have been known to say, hey, remove that guy, because if we remove that guy, we have a better chance. Now, it's kind of ironic that removing Ja Morant throughout the course of the season for the Memphis Grizzlies did them no harm, because they literally won almost every game he wasn't in. But nevertheless, if Karl's trying to do that, or if he was put up to doing that by coaching staff or by other players or what have you, if this is something he chose to do himself, I don't think it's the right way to go. Not only from a karma standpoint, oh my God, you're a bad guy standpoint. That's not just it. What you do is you put a target on your back. You put a target on your franchise's back. And I know this is a hell of a reach, but it's just where my head goes when I see stuff like this. The Saints, New Orleans Saints, and that whole situation with Vilma and how they went through that whole thing with Peyton, Sean Payton, and how they were hurting players and purposely and all kinds of weird stuff. What you don't want to do is have people even having that in their mind even slightly. Okay, if I can have that flash in my head, then I'm pretty sure someone else can too. And that's the type of stuff you just don't want to consider when your team has been caught. And I say team, I mean franchise has been caught with the type of issues that the Timberwolves have had in the past, the Joe Smith thing. A lot of us remember that. I know the NBA remembers that. You just don't want to be the face of a franchise, right? That we know we ain't made the playoffs in a long time. We know we're up against it. We know, it's all these different things. We know they've done some things that they maybe shouldn't have done and got caught for it. And then we see you out here doing this. You just don't want to shine a light like that on your franchise, Big Cat. And I don't think the young fellow would think that far ahead. Hell, I don't even think some people behind the scenes think like that. But I think the people who watch people, the NBA's officials and the NBA itself, maybe they may think like that. And you don't, as the face of the franchise, want to give anybody that seed or anything of that nature about you as an athlete. It's about your franchise in any way. So I just want to put that out there. I know I'm extreme. My mind goes in far left a lot of times. I get that. But nevertheless, I'm aware of things that you have to guard against. And when you're of that caliber and when you try to hurt a guy like Ja, who you know the NBA is going to give basically the keys to, or at least they're going to test it out, see if he can be one of them guys, you don't want to be associated with purposefully hurting him, okay? And then I looked over at Patrick Beverley. My mind flashed to what happened with Russell Westbrook and how that took him out for a whole year and how people were saying that looked dirty. I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm just telling you, Patrick Beverley's right next to you. It all looks bad, man. Just don't do that. Don't purposely hurt players. If you're gonna strategize to take a guy out, do it in between the lines. Don't do it trying to hurt somebody, bro. That's all I'm saying. You know? And if that ain't what you're doing, cool. If that ain't what you're doing, cool. You know what I'm saying? I leave room for nothing. Maybe it's nothing. But if it's something, stop it. And that don't just go for Karl Towns. That goes for every athlete everywhere. Just don't. You will put a target on your back and on your employer's back. This is what it is. So, I'll leave you with that, man. Hate to be so dark about it. But, I didn't realize that it happened until it was pointed out. Saw it a bunch of times. Didn't look good. What do you want me to say? Didn't look good. And I know guys are warriors. Basketball players are warriors. Football players are warriors, man. You take some of these rules away, you'd see some unbelievable stuff out there. These competitors, you would separate the strong from the weak, okay? We would know who's really, really serious about winning. But there are rules in place for a reason. There's a lot of kids watching, and you don't want them looking at what you do and then thinking they can do that to the kid next to them. And that's what the NBA has to guard against ultimately. So, there it is, all right? That's how I feel about it, man. We're all men here. Some people really, really cringe about dirty plays. I don't like dirty plays. I don't think there's any place for it. But on the street, hey, push a guy in the back, get up and fight, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Call the foul, get up, shoot 2 free throws, no blood, no foul. Everybody has different rules everywhere. But you intentionally trying to hurt another superstar, it's a bad look, bro. Real bad. So that's what I got to say about that. I'm looking forward to this game. A clean game. Hopefully the officials don't micromanage the game because of that, which is also something that you obviously need to guard against. And, we'll see what happens next, man. Hopefully everybody stays completely healthy, and we'll see a good game. I want to see the Minnesota Timberwolves actually win this game. Just as a fan, I do. I want to see this series extend. I don't want it to. And I think Memphis winning this game tonight probably puts them in a position to stranglehold the series. They are the better team at the end of the day. And even though I think Minnesota's star power might be slightly more top-heavy, the depth of Memphis should, in theory, overwhelm the Minnesota Timberwolves. But nothing is for certain when you got players like Patrick Beverley in between the lines causing chaos. You know, he's an X factor of catastrophic proportions. So that's what I got to say, man. Hopefully they can get a good game out of Anthony Edwards, a bounce back game from him. And if that's the case, then we'll see what I want to see. So, hey, it is what it is, man. I'm a Laker fan. Y'all know I ain't got no skin in the game. Just want to see good basketball. And that's what it is. I thank you all for checking me out. My name is BDL44, and I'm out.